just realized my mic wasn't in. Hopefully it works now. Oh no, why is the dropping of the frames? Don't be a drop in frames. Well, maybe you aren't dropping frames and I'm crazy. Close that. Close that. Do 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 do. It was weird at the start, but a reset made it go. Okay. Is my mic okay? Because I just realized it wasn't plugged in when I started the stream, so I wasn't sure if OBS even registered I have my mic now. Okay. Sounds good to me? Okay. You have some gravel for your throat? For God. I'm scared. Alright. New items unlocked in the gallery. What? We won't go there. I think there'll be spoilers. But yeah, we're starting episode 4, Turnabout Reminiscence. I didn't stream last week, if I recall, because I was still kind of dealing. I don't know. Whatever. I'm good to stream today. So let's go look what Baby Miles is up to. It was daylight savings, that's why. Episode 4, Turnabout Reminiscence. Kay Faraday, the young lady who calls herself the second Yatagarasu. The piece of cloth that she conjured up has taken me back to many years ago. "7 years earlier." 7 years? Question mark. Who are these guys? Yeah, that's right. I did it. I killed the guy. But it was the great thief Yatagarasu that told me to do it. Objection. I asked the defendant, just what exactly are you getting at? Don't you get it? I know the true identity of the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu is the man standing over there in the prosecutor's bench. Are you saying I am the Yatagarasu? Don't you dare deny it. You told me to kill him when you snuck into the embassy. Are you claiming that the Mr. Faraday is the Yatagarasu? That's exactly what I'm saying. Mr. Rell, I think you've heard just about enough of you. Your Honor, please listen to me. I'm telling the truth. You've got to believe me. Hey, Donnie.
In accordance with the defendant's accusations, a new prosecutor shall be called to replace Mr. Faraday. This court will be in recess until the new prosecutor is ready.
Yeah, this entire it was going really fast too. like I can't even read all of it. The judge, he still lives. I've never seen the judge from this specific distance. He's gonna get investigated. It's Baby Miles. If you recall, in Miles's office, he has this uniform hanging up on his wall. September 10th, 3:20 p.m. The District Court, 3rd floor lobby. It's almost time for me to enter the courtroom. Look at Baby Miles. He's so baby. His hair is shorter, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm gonna do that. And so it is that my first assignment as a prosecutor will be as a replacement for a prosecutor who has been accused by the defendant. Which one do I think this is? Edgeworth? No, it's him. Damn it.
Edgeworth.
Sir. Oh no, I'm so scared. I can't.
Have you read over all the documents regarding this trial?
Yes, sir. I memorized everything there is to know.
Very good. The paperwork for the prosecutor's substitution is just about to complete. Edgeworth, always bear in mind that as your mentor, I, Manfred von Karma, will accept nothing short of perfection.
It's dressed like he's gonna liberate Spain from the French in the 1800s. Beautiful. This could be when Phoenix is in college. I could see that. I understand, sir. To have a chance to stand in court at such an early stage in my career, I am honored and proud.
As I have watched over your studies, I am giving you this very rare chance. Prove yourself. Crush the defendant's pathetic lies into oblivion.
Yes, sir. That such a legendary prosecutor will be watching and judging my performance. I have to be perfect in every way. Master and Commander, far side of the courtroom. They are dressed a lot. Like, I don't know what it is. There's something about Manfred's portrait in particular that feels really, like, drawn over, because, like, they all are. They were originally all pixel art, right? But maybe it's just because I've been looking at it long enough. Okay, we have the ability to do things. Okay. Let's look in here real quick. How old am I right now? Oh, I don't have my age. Apparently Manfred is 60. My mentor who has never known defeat in 35 years. A legendary prosecutor. Proof of my profession. My mentor said it is more chic to keep it in my pocket. Oh my god, we can see the badge up close. Each prosecutor's badge is engraved with the number of its owner on the back. Numbers. As if we're not human on the inside like everyone else. Oh, Edgeworth is a human, apparently. He has some weird hang-ups. He does. This badge's design is said to reflect the relentlessness and discipline of law enforcement. It comes from the authority vested in us as the strict protectors of the law, and executors of sentences, much like harsh winter frost and blazing summer days. To wear it is to identify oneself as a prosecutor. But my mentor has taught me it's more fashionable to keep it in my pocket. Okay. Let's see, what do we got going on? Hello, person. This is so good. Gulp, gulp, gulp. I could drink a whole gallon. I've never heard of water that tastes that good. Maybe I'll give him a minute. Gulp, 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 gulp. Gulp, 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 gulp. Does he plan on gulping the entire reservoir dry? Excuse me, ma'am. Is there something the matter? Oh, I just thought someone would have brought hors d'oeuvres by now. But this is a courthouse. It would be quite atypical to provide hors d'oeuvres here. Are you sure? Someone poured me a fresh cup of coffee last time I was here. What the heck does she think a courthouse is for? Nukamizu. Oh no, it's an LSD fountain. Aren't these great? Daddy made all of these. Awesome! But didn't you get fired right after you made them? Yes, I did. I spent the same amount of money on this model as it cost to build the real thing. My boss wasn't very happy with me. Hey, Daddy, didn't you say you built a secret mechanism inside of it? I'll tell you about it someday when you're older. A secret mechanism? Maybe he installed it as payback for getting fired. It could be trouble. Now I'm curious. Spent the same amount of money on a model as an entire building. Apparently. No wonder he was fired. Okay. Oh my god. Look at the top wall. There's so many judge pictures up there. But we've only ever met like 2 judges in this entire series, I think. Well, in the main line, I should say. Egad, what a cold stare he's giving me. However, as a disciple of Von Karma, there is no option but to win. Miles, you definitely have some more baby must-win energy for sure. He's good. The power of his cold stare rivals my own. Bzz. He's sleeping while standing up. Okay. Hey, Manfred, what's going on? Oh, wait, let's look at this first. A model of the courthouse. It's pretty well constructed. Hands and a face. Don't tell me this thing transforms. Yet, I wonder what other purpose could they have been made? It's a robot? It's a transformer model? Is that what they're saying? Okay.
Today's trial should have ended in just 1 minute.
Because the defendant was picked by the security camera, correct? Was picked up.
Exactly. The killer had the gall to say that he got killed because he was instructed to do so. Even more outrageous, his claim that the case prosecutor,
Burn Faraday? Is it... How do you say that? B-Y-R-N-E. Burn? Gave the order. I would assume Burn. Okay. That's kind of what I was going with, but...
Huh. Faraday, such a fool. He's been cornered by his very own prey.
Sir, are you an acquaintance of Mr. Burn Faraday?
He's a pathetic man who speaks nothing but nonsense.
Nonsense?
He once tried to explain to me a way to punishing those who cannot be brought to court.
You know, it feels almost like this world, you can't have facial hair unless you're a judge. Or I guess Gumshoe. He has facial hair. But I don't think they have a lot of people with facial hair in these games. I suppose it would obscure the face too much when they're doing their, like, talking animations, but... Those who cannot be brought to into court. Is that nonsense? For no man is above the law. Wow, I phrased it. Those who cannot be brought to court, ? That is nonsense. For no man is above the law. I believe we met someone else with slight facial hair in this case, but yeah, it's rare.
Well, there is always a few exceptions. However, there is no reason to even deal with such individuals. The prosecutor is a guardian of the court, one with no obligation to outside matters.
Thus, there is no reason to deal with such individuals, I see.
Edgeworth, disgracing yourself as Faraday has will not be forgiven.
Have no fear. I will not let you down, sir. In place of the accused prosecutor, Burn Faraday, I'll prove the defendant's guilt. He's so baby with his finger point. I just can't. There's, he's also the judge, so age. I hope that kid is an aspiring lawyer about to get on an elevator with his dad and the security guard in late December.
Very good. I've secured an hour of recess for you to prepare just to do just that. Show them all the power of Von Karma. So have you achieved a firm understanding of the case?
Yes, sir. I've memorized everything that is written down in the case file.
Well then, explain the case to me. I want to see if you really know what you're talking about.
Understood. Yes, explain it to us, Edgeworth. I'm so glad Edgeworth is explaining this, because if I had to do this entire explanation as Von Karma, I would cry. A murder was committed on September 8th in front of the Kodopian Embassy? The Kodopian Embassy. The victim, Mr. You're very subtle, game. The victim, Mr. Deadman, was a staff member at the embassy. Sometimes the pun is complicated, other times they don't give a fuck, pretty much. The defendant of this case, Mr. Macreal, was held for questioning the night of the incident as he was deemed suspicious. He was quickly placed under arrest for possession of the murder weapon, a gun. Furthermore, at the time of the murder, the great thief, Yatagarasu, had successfully infiltrated the Kodopian embassy as well. Yatagarasu haunts the embassy! The noble Yatagarasu vigilante of the business world reappears! At first, Riel claimed that he himself was the Yatagarasu. Mr. Dead goes to Washington. But he did not kill Deadman. I wonder what he expected to gain from such a desperate lie.
It's possible he wanted to go down while in the spotlight, if he is found guilty. There is truly no limit to the people's inanity. But I digress. Continue, Edgeworth.
Yes, sir. During the trial, the prosecution presented the security footage that captured the murder. The footage clearly shows Mr. Riel as the murderer.
The act of Mr. Riel firing the gun could be clearly seen from the visitors' gallery.
Upon seeing that, the defendant retracted his statement and admitted to the murder. I did it because I was told to. By the real Yatagarasu, Byrne Faraday. Is the other guy's full name a real culprit? That would be a good one.
Sounds about right. However, you've forgotten one thing. While this may appear simply to be a murder of the Kodopian embassy staff member, people are actually referring to it as the second KG-8 incident.
If you recall, the KG-8 incident was what was missing from Miles's office in the tutorial case. The second KG-8 incident. I'm very sorry, sir. I fear I failed to study hard enough.
Even among the police, this information is only a select few are privy to.
Could you please enlighten me, sir? It was 3 years ago. I didn't remember. Very fair. Second KG-8 incident. Sir, what do you mean by the second KG-8 incident? DL6 KG-8 TK421.
In order for me to tell you that, you must first learn about the original case. Take a look at these documents.
This is a 3-year-old newspaper. Well, it seems like the case was 3 years ago as well, so...
You have heard of the Amano Group scandal before, correct?
Amano? Where have we heard that name before? Yes, I have. The secretary of Ernest Amano, the Amano Group's director, was arrested under suspicion of smuggling.
Correct. CCU was an employee of the Amano Group and the sole witness to the smuggling operation. It was she who brought the crime to light.
Yes, the amino acids makes DNA.
However, Miss Yu was silenced before she could testify in court.
Wasn't the Codopian embassy staff member arrested for murder?
Yes, the Codopian by the name of Manny Cochin. Cochin? Was a suspect. However, due to lack of evidence, the case went unresolved.
Lack of evidence?
Ha! If only I was in charge of the case. I would have done everything in my power to prove his guilt.
To make sure that all criminals are found guilty, my mentor really is dedicated.
Faraday was a prosecutor on that case then. He was as pathetic as ever.
Mr. Faraday was in charge of the KG-8 incident as well.
That's right. And now, once again, the victim of this case that you are currently assigned to was someone who was scheduled to testify against that smuggling operation. And just like last time...
Oh, and just like last time, the victim was murdered right before he was to testify.
You're catching on. The victim was murdered just before his day in court against the smuggling organization. Events are occurring almost exactly the same way as they did in the KG-8 incident.
So that's why it's being called the second KG-8 incident.
Yes. Yet there is one difference between the two incidents.
What would that be?
The so-called noble thief that is sending everyone into an uproar. The great thief Yatagarasu.
Yatagarasu. I'd better find out more. It's weird seeing Von Karma not outwardly trying to cheat at a case. I mean, he does want all criminals to go to jail, regardless. So, he still has some of that in it, but I don't know. He's a little more mentor-y in this case. Probably because Edgeworth is still baby and he's not running it, so, yeah. Yatagarasu. If it's true that the Yatagarasu showed up at the Codopian embassy, what could he or she have been after?
No doubt to steal any suspicious accounting records and release them publicly. Or more likely to steal secrets from the Codopian embassy itself. Since the item that the Yatagarasu stole from them there was sent to the police.
What was it that the Yatagarasu sent to the police?
I don't know the details. Anything related to the Yatagarasu is getting the top secret treatment. Still, I find it very ironic. By returning the stolen item to the police, it was proof positive that the Yatagarasu had infiltrated the embassy on the same day the staff member was killed. Criminals have a way of incriminating themselves, wouldn't you say?
Manfred would have already cheated to victory if it was his, yeah. Fun fact about hyper-competitive sports. Higher proficiency players are more likely to cheat than unskilled ones. I could see that. That would have to be the first time the Atagarasu has left evidence behind, correct?
Yes, indeed. If you wish to learn more about the Atagarasu, then I suggest you ask Faraday.
Mr. Faraday?
He happens to be the prosecutor in charge of the Atagarasu case as well.
He's the prosecutor in charge of both the KG-8 incident and the Atagarasu case? Mr. Faraday really has a lot on his plate. Look who it is!
What is it, little girl?
You're scary, mister.
It is indeed a baby ninja! Look at her! She's so cute! Did you need something?
I want to trade these coins with you.
A fistful of dimes, quarters, and pennies. But it looks like you've exactly $1. Is this what you want?
Thanks! That's exactly what I needed.
Could that child be here to watch the trial?
How disrespectful for a child like that to be running around inside the courtroom. Does no one have respect for this country's judicial system anymore?
Yeah, okay, Manfred.
The paperwork for the prosecutor's substitution is complete. Why, don't you even know how much time there is left before the trial resumes? I'm sorry. I can have you mopping up this courtroom instead of protecting it in an instant.
It's no bother, sir. Not being completely prepared could prove to be a perfect handicap for me.
Proud one, aren't you?
Yeah, you boys waving your fingers at each other. There's something about the specific, like... Edgeworth, there better be hidden some pennies in there. Ain't no way that even $3 with 3 goddamn pennies. Yeah. Go team venture.
You had better collect evidence from Faraday and prepare yourself. It's time for your debut, Edgeworth.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the case where it was Miles versus Mia the first case that Edgeworth did? Or are they or maybe they didn't say that. I don't really remember Trials and Tribulations that well, but like I know that Miles is a part of the case with Mia anyways. But maybe that wasn't his first case. September 10th, 4 p.m. District Court Room 3. Oh. There is no defense attorney.
What's going on? Why isn't Faraday here yet? How is it possible that the defense is not prepared yet, either?
Bailiff, where is Mr. Faraday?
I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying attention.
Hey, it's the judge. Hey, Udgy. I really do need to revisit the game 3. Voice acting is a lot, though. It is a lot. And I think taking a break is the correct call. Because, like, it takes a lot out of you to do this back-to-back. I'm considering whether I should take a break between the first Edgeworth game and the second. We'll see.
You must be... What? You must be one of Mr. Von Karma's the one Mr. Von Karma recommended. I hear this will be your first trial. I look forward to seeing how you perform. Oh, by the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess? I could have sworn I heard a popper going off. Come to think of it, the other day with my grandson...
In fact, I don't know if we've ever seen a 3/4 view of Judge before. This is really weird. Judge gets a new distance image and now we see him walk. You just see he has a floating beard, head in robes. We are in foreign territory. I am frightened. He's Santa Claus. Look at that beard. Isn't it majestic? It's always really interesting when you see there's people who could grow beards that are like that, but then are bald on top. Like, looks like Kratos. I can see it a little bit. That's how guy hair works. I'll take your word on that one. Sir, it looks like the trial's about to resume, however...
Yes, it will be about all impossible to prove the witness is a liar, without the evidence from Faraday. What is that blasted buffoon up to?
Oh my god, Kratos Judge? That would be amazing. Kinda is, yeah. Hey, Scott.
Boy!
It's an emergency, sirs! Oh, look who it is! It's Baby Gumshoe!
Silence! There shall be no yelling in the sacred halls of law. Bailiff, remove that man from this courtroom at once.
Baby Gumshoe does not look any different.
Please, wait, you have to listen to me. There's an emergency. Defendant lobby number 2, Mr. Faraday and the defendant. The two of them. They're both dead, Your Honor. What?
What? I like that their answer to make Gumshoe look younger is just give him a different color trench coat. Oh yeah, I remember this guy. This guy is hella cool. We interrupt this murder trial to bring you on a murder investigation. Before he was Dick Gumshoe, he was Richard Mintmouth.
Stay back. I'm the goddamn Batman.
If I could do a Batman voice, I would do a Batman voice, but it will kill me. Look at this dude with bullet holes in his trench coat.
No one's allowed on the crime scene. Period.
Just who does this oddball think he is? This is becoming quite the hotspot. Isn't she Mr. Riel's defense attorney?
Hey! No running in the halls, pal!
And who are you to tell me what to do? Oh my god, this is when Miles and Edgeworth first met! Miles and Edgeworth? Gumshoe and Edgeworth first met! I'll never find out what's going on like this. It's time for some civil discourse. This sofa looks like it's seen a fair share of use. And it looks like another part of the courthouse is visible from this window. My eyes have locked onto my reflection's eye in the barred window. As a student of Von Karma, I refuse to back down. Oh my god, Edward, what is your problem? I won. Pretty sure the way that detectives work in this world is when you make detective, you get one trench coat per life. Yeah. Okay, but I was trying to look at the ants, but yeah. Edgeworth isn't sure how to be young. How far can I go? Oh my god, there's a picture for him. Young Judges for Justice. A poster of the judge. There's a longer slogan of some sort on it in tiny light letters at the bottom. Every strike of my gavel brings the truth closer to me, and my hair farther away. Is this a promotional poster for the court or a hair growth product? A fire extinguisher. If one were to be hit on the head with this, I suppose the victim would lose a memory or two. But it's not as though I'd ever be so foolish as to be struck by one of these. Nope. He laughs and plays his violin and says he will never die. And you are?
Who, me? Hey, pal. It's common courtesy to tell someone your name first before asking theirs.
Point taken. Oh my god. The first time they met, Gumshoe lectured Miles on common courtesy. Point taken. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I am a district prosecutor.
Prosecutor? Never seen a prosecutor as young as you, pal.
I've told you my name. Now would you mind telling me yours?
Detective Dip Gumshoe. I just recently achieved my dream of becoming a detective. More than a dream. It's what I was born to do. Wait, maybe I should check and make sure I'm not really in some kind of crazy dream first.
This detective is entirely too excited to be at a murder scene. So, Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling me what you know about the incident?
You know, I don't have to tell you anything, right?
I know that, but it would behoove you to fill me in on what you know. Edgeworth doesn't know how incompetent Gumshoe is yet.
Wow, you're a proud one for such a youngster, aren't you? Well, anyway, Detective Bad is the one in charge.
I think Gumshoe is meant to be like 25 here. Because this is 7 years ago, but it's 2 years after the first game, and in the first game, I believe Gumshoe is 30. So then he would be 25 here, I guess, give or take.
So you're gonna have to ask him for all the details, okay? As for me, I was guarding the door in the defendant lobby number 2.
So you were on guard detail. Did you notice anything strange while you were on duty?
Well, I kind of freaked out when I heard the gunshot, and then I kind of froze.
You're a detective, and a measly gunshot scared you that much. Then again, I can hardly claim to know what it's like to hear one at close range.
Then Detective Bad came running to the scene. We went to lobby number 2 together. Both men were lying there dead.
Is that everything?
Yeah, that's it. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of the struggle.
Interesting. Other than the gunshot, you didn't hear a single sound of commotion. Gumshoe's testimony jotted down for my organizer. Well, thank you, Gumshoe. I assume those facial bandages Gumshoe always has are from him trying to shave every morning and giving up. Probably. Hello, you. Do you have a minute? You know, I'm not really into talking to people I don't know. Especially at a time like this. I apologize for not introducing myself before bothering you. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I was to take Mr. Faraday's place in court. Edgeworth, huh? Never heard of you. So Faraday's substitute is a newbie, huh? I'll have you know, madam, I studied under Manfred von Karma. He just did the Manfred von Karma finger waggle with the little, like, mouth movement. I feel like he's done that before, but I don't know. It just feels more, like, prominent here. Do not take me for some naive novice. Do not take me for some naive novice. So you're a student of Von Karma. I should have. Those clothes are a dead giveaway. Stop it right there. These aren't garments of one who would gallantly present facts. Thanks for the great laugh, but try not to make me laugh so much, huh? Okay? I wasn't trying to do anything of the sort. Oh no, Edgeworth's nemesis. Just kidding. I was goofing around. By the way, do you know who I am? My name is Callista Yu. And if you're telling me the truth, then we're about to go head-to-head in court. But of course, I've heard so much about you, Miss Yu. But of course I've heard so much about you. You're a regular Shakespeare. Did I say something funny? I'd like you to update me on the situation. It's crazy how the clothing style for Ace Attorney is 1-to-1 for a Vampire the Masquerade LARP. Especially in this case, but yeah, I totally get you. I don't really know anything. Why don't you try talking to those detectives over there? If that's the case, then why are you here? What's so funny? It's just the way you speak is so tactless. The person I was going against in court only until a while ago was just murdered. It's not like I could go back into the courtroom and pretend as though nothing happened. That's a good point. I apologize for asking such an insensitive question. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You has the scales of justice earrings. Yep. She sure does. Excuse me, but who are you? Detective Tyrell Bad. Homicide. I was informed of the situation and came as quickly as possible. Just all the music themes. So how did you arrive and inspect the body before me? Faraday requested me to testify in the trial. Plain and simple. Mr. Faraday requested that you be here. I've already contacted HQ about the situation. I've got nothing to say to you, kid. Kid? I am Mr. Faraday's substitute in today's trial. Therefore, I insist that you update me on the situation. I can't back down here. I have a right to know. Do I need to teach you a thing or two about how to talk to adults, kid? Nothing personnel. Is he threatening me? Is he going for his gun? Nope, just a mirror. It's just a mirror. How dare he trick me like that? It's like going through this case, you start to realize how much like Miles has matured since here. Faraday was stabbed to death with some kind of blade. He had a gun in his hand. The other man, Mr. Macriel, was shot and killed. He was found holding a bloody knife in his hand. Was there anyone else who went into the defendant lobby number 2? Yeah, that big lug over there. His name's Gumshoe. He's in charge of guarding the place. Oh no, are we gonna have to defend? You know, I was like, oh, we've never had to defend Gumshoe in court. But we have to defend him here? We've defended him in the first case already, but... Oh god, his pun name is Mackerel. Yep. It would almost make you think Phoenix has hope, yet Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice exist. He was claiming that no one else entered the room. If that's the case, then they must have killed each other, correct? Maybe. Such impudence. This guy really is testing my patience. Why was I not informed that you were going to testify in court? Homicides aren't my only gig. The Yatagarasu case is also one of my assignments. So you were called upon to comment on the Yatagarasu characteristics, in order to assess if Mr. Faraday really was the Yatagarasu or not. Well, looks like you might have a brain after all in that head of yours, son. Son? I am not your son, Pops! Edgeworth never used Pops again. Miss Yu! There is someone here who wishes to see you. Who is it? A Cadopian embassy staff member by the name of Manny Calkin. What? What's going on? Detective Bad and Miss Yu's moods just changed all of a sudden. Edgeworth using slang is like putting diesel in a gasoline engine. Manny Cochin. Wait a second, wasn't it Manny Cochin? I'll be right back there. It's nice to see you again, Miss Yu. Why are you here? I've no desire to ever see you again. Now. Actually, would you mind stepping outside for a brief chat? Fine, let's go. Man, Manfred can move. Bad. Von Karma, it's been a long time. I knew you would show up. You're usually due when the Yatagarasu involved. And I can see this case is no exception. Do you know Detective Bad, sir? Yes, she is like an old bloodhound that never leaves the scene of a crime. If only he would get a promotion and move on.
It's the crime scene where the detective is most useful and effective. It's not like I don't know that. Moving on, though, Bad. The man I just passed by. Was he not the suspect from KG8?
So I was right.
Just what is that man doing here? Wandering around? That Faraday. I can't believe he let such an easy catch get away. Imbecile. I would have proven his guilt in 3 minutes.
Von Karma, I think you've said enough for now. It's in poor taste to speak like that about the departed.
Very well. Back on topic. I'm placing Edgeworth in charge of the investigation here.
Objection!
Oh. Who's ready for baby Francisca? Instead of a whip, she has a little riding crop.
Papa, how can you place him in charge?
Francisca, what are you doing here?
I'm here for summer vacation. What else?
Francisca von Karma. So she is here on vacation from Germany. She is the daughter of Manfred von Karma and a student of his, who is also a junior to me. Actual baby Francisca. Yes.
You're the one who's junior to me, and don't you forget it.
You're not conveniently avoiding the bar examination, are you?
If you were able to pass, then I will have absolutely no trouble at all. I will never allow myself to lose to you. Never!
Why does she always have to be this competitive? You will refer to me as senpai. You are 13. Yeah, really.
Anyway, Papa, are you really assigning Miles Edgeworth to cover the case?
Yes, I am. Why do you ask?
Well, you know, I'm close to becoming a prosecutor myself. And I am 100% confident that I can do a better job than him.
That's just like Francisca. She has no problem bad-mouthing someone right in front of them.
Bad.
Yeah.
These two will be conducting an investigation. What? You want me to let both of these kids loose on this crime scene? This is the perfect opportunity for them to work on their prosecutorial skills.
A crime scene is not a place for children to be messing around.
I am the one with authority over this crime scene, Bad. And I will not tolerate complaining. Edgeworth, Francisca, I leave this case to you two.
Understood, sir.
Yes, Papa.
I'll go take care of the paperwork now. Remember, I'll accept nothing but a perfect report from you both. Do not disappoint me.
Hold up, Von Karma. I still haven't agreed to this.
Miles Edgeworth.
It's been quite a while, quite some time, Francisca.
This will be a perfect chance for us to see which of us is truly worthy of the Von Karma name.
Would it kill you to at least say hello?
Long time no see.
Very good.
Just because you are a prosecutor first doesn't mean you can act all proud.
She hasn't changed a bit.
Miles Edgeworth, as I was saying, we will shall see which of us is worthy of the Von Karma name.
For crying out loud, I've been reduced to a babysitter. Tell her sleeveless attire is frowned upon in court and watch her spontaneously combust. Detective Bad babysit my kids. Pretty much. It looks like Mr. Von Karma was successful in convincing the detective. That's just like him. He never fails. Now, I'd appreciate it if you could quickly run me through the facts, Detective Bad. You'd better be checking off things on your own. Very well. Seems like getting help from Detective Bad will be of the most arduous task. I feel like usually you do the outline after you're gonna actually move the bodies, but you know. Is the only real explanation that they killed each other simultaneously? Miles Edgeworth, you shall listen to someone until they are finished talking. What are you talking about? I'll only say this one more time. This is a competition to see who is truly worthy of the Von Karma name. A competition? The person that figures out the truth first wins. So the person who doesn't discover the truth is a dishonor to the name? Exactly. I don't care that you became a prosecutor before me. I simply refuse to hear any more foolish things coming from your foolishly foolish mouth. Great success. Fine, whatever makes you happy. I can take it that you accept my challenge. Once again, whatever makes you happy. Well then, let us investigate, shall we? I'm going to find the perfect evidence and prettily present it like the professional I am. Competing to discover the truth behind a crime. How delightfully childish. You kids over there, hold. Kids? Ha! Serves you right, Miles. He just called you a kid. I said kids, kid. How dare you call me a kid as well? I'll do what I please, and I won't allow you to cause a ruckus on my crime scene. Hey, big guy, you're going to watch over these two. Yes, sir! Detective Bad, sir. Now do what I say from now on, kids, okay? You better not get in our way, Scruffy. You'll feel the bite of my whip if you do. Then you, prosecutor boy. Let's get your investigation started already, alright? Great, now even that detective is treating me like a child. Alright, no time to get investigating. Get a move on it, prosecutor boy. My name is Miles Edgeworth. And if you were to call me prosecutor boy one more time, it will be my duty to prosecute, as a prosecutor, to look into your monthly salary. What? What would you do with my salary after you saw how much it was? Well, it's up to you now, isn't it? Miles, threatening Gumshoe's salary since the beginning of time. Edgeworth wins. He takes the Von Karma name and holy matrimony. It is rough that poor Katie's voice that Manfred and Bad both implied deeper registers. It is so mean to my voice. I am not made to do deep voiced male characters. Cause like I have a lower register voice for like female. So like I can kind of get away with like the middle tone stuff, but ugh. Okay. Drink some water, Katie. My vocal cords aren't made to stretch that far, whatever the case may be. Gumshoe strikes me as a guy whose entire living condition is floor mattress with a PS2 next to it. I do appreciate you get full baby K in Francisca, considering Pearl already vocal cord locked me. I am able to go to that higher range, yeah. So like, I recognize that those are the harder voices for like a male register to do for the most part. Okay.
Really? Sounds good, pal.
He's so naive.
Begin investigation.
You thought Francisco was going to be our Maya, but it's Gumshoe. Gumshoe is Francisca. Or Francisca Maya. I would love to VA stuff like this. Yeah. Like, this would be fun to do with, like, a group of people where you guys take, like, different characters, and then I don't have to kill my voice doing the deep registered, badass detective, or, you know, the prosecutor who's supposed to be German, but I'm not even going to try to do that in that lower registered voice. Detective Ban, may I have a word with you?
What is it?
What is it? It appears that both a knife and a gun were used in them as murder weapons.
Yeah, it does.
That leads us to our first question of the investigation. Where did the man acquire the weapons? Manfred von Karma is both German and sounds like a literal demon. Yep. Like, even just the sound clip they use for his objection is, like, really overpowering. On purpose, obviously. I am not capable of that, but...
The gun was inside of Faraday's bag. It was a piece of evidence that was present in the trial earlier today. It was used to kill the Codopian embassy staff member.
Okay, but, and hear me out, if he just had a gun in his bag that was for evidence, I feel like you don't leave that loaded. So,
But I never heard of anything about the knife.
no, it's a butterfly knife. At least I think it is.
Mr. Riel was being held by the police. There is no way he could have brought it in. Which means it's possible that Faraday had the knife on him from the start as well.
Could it have been a piece of evidence that had yet to be presented? But then why doesn't Detective Bad know about it? Wait, what if... Is it possible that Mr. Faraday brought the knife in under the guise of prosecutorial evidence? Could he have then brought it out and attacked Mr. Ryle with it?
Huh? Maybe you've got a brain in there after all, kid.
Is he going to treat me like a child forever? It looks like Mr. Faraday attacked... Oh,
It looks like Mr. Faraday attacked Mr. Ryle first, who then counterattacked. That's the only logical conclusion you can draw from a scene like this.
not yet. I feel as that there's much too early... That it's much too early to be drawing a conclusion already. I must first find conclusive evidence so as to protect the honor of the von Karma name. Alright. Something evidence law, you have to keep it loaded. Pat is the kind of guy who micromanages his stubble, hence the mirror. Dead man. Macriel. Yatagarasu. Mystery girl. The judge. Dick Gumshoe. He is 26. I was close. Callista, you... All of these, like, age 22 lawyers. This man is not 24 years old. 13. Like, becoming a lawyer in this world must be hella easy. Okay, I need a moment to just, like, refill my water. Remember, this is anime, though. It's true. And then I will be right back and we can start investigating this properly. Alright, back to investigating. Mid-20s or already middle age. So what does that make someone like Tyrell bad who's like 56? Oh wait, did it say how old the judge was? No, we never get to know the judge's age, apparently. He is eternal. Okay. Well, let's look around. There are some plastic bags stacked on the table. There's a tea set too, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of disturbance.
Yeah, the table's all neat and tidy. Maybe they were super quiet in their scuffle. After all, didn't hear anything from out in the hallway, you know.
Maybe the plastic bags scattered on the floor are throwing us off?
Okay, well, there's a bag here.
There's some stuff in the bag, pal.
I suppose this was Mr. Faraday's bag. It's probably a trial evidence I was supposed to collect from him.
This is the evidence? I better not touch it. I'll leave prints on it.
Do you just not pay attention to anything you do? The window is open, and there's fresh flowery scent in the air.
The flowers in the garden down there are so gross and ghastly.
Do you think maybe you could try offering something useful for a change?
Well, at least there's no way someone escaped through this window, pal. They would have wake up and smell the flowers after the fall from the 3rd floor.
Are you willfully ignoring the fact that there is also iron bars on the windows?
The judge is so old, it's literally unknowable. Age, question mark. Level, question mark.
Yeah, I guess there's that too. Either way, no one could get through these windows, right?
And they thought of everything when they were designing this courthouse. Very nice. Ace Attorney. Yes, indeed. Hello. Alright, let's look at this TV.
Whoa!
Oh, what is a Detective Gumshoe?
My TV at home is so tiny compared to this one, pal.
Then perhaps you should purchase a more normal-sized TV like this one.
Oh, let me see. Wow, this thing's huge. What? And way too noisy.
You're the noisy one, Scruffy. Don't touch it. You'll get your fingerprints all over it.
But I didn't touch it.
Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of detective work. The foundation, huh? Sounds like something the rookie here needs to shore up on.
Maybe it's just the game art, but the judge seems more imposing. Are we seeing him before he sank into season? I mean, I think stuff still comes up that makes it show that he's still the same guy, but he is more imposing right now, it's true. Okay, but this is still a thing.
The TV's been left on.
Why are you looking at me like that? It wasn't me. I didn't touch anything.
Come shoot. You do know what will happen if you touch something again, right?
I won't touch anything. I won't even go near the TV, sir. And you, get back to your investigation, all right?
I was planning to do so anyway. Look at the plant! This decorative plant foliage is quite nice. It's actually soothing to be around. Perhaps I should purchase one for my room.
Okay. Let's look at this.
It looks like Mr. Faraday fell on top of Mr. Ryle. At first glance, it seems like they must have killed each other. However,
using logic is the only logical conclusion. Aha!
What was that outburst for?
My detective's instinct just hit me real hard. It was Mr. Ryle that fell first, see?
You don't need to be a detective. Need a detective's instinct for that. It's common sense.
That's a nice painting of Mark Twain.
But I suppose we won't know much more than that until after we examine the bodies. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
Well, there is this bloody bag.
Why are there plastic bags scattered around?
Those bags are for keeping evidence, sir.
I know that much, detective.
You sure are good at this stuff, aren't you, pal?
Normally, I'd be happy when someone compliments me, but when it's this guy... Anyway, could there be plastic bags? These plastic bags be evidence of a fight between these two men?
Looks like Mr. Ryle died with a knife in his hand.
There's some kind of blood stuck on it.
Then he must have used the weapon. Yep, no doubt about it.
Was Mr. Faraday carrying this on his personage? Did he bring it as a piece of evidence for the trial? Or did he bring it with a very different intention in mind? I should jot down some notes about it.
I believe Faraday brought this as evidence. It was found in Ryle's hand. Okay.
First he killed the Codopian embassy staff member, then he was murdered himself. This guy
wasn't exactly an angel, you know.
Oh, what makes you say that?
Well, he'd been hauled in to the precinct several times for theft and assault, pal. So yeah, he's definitely the type to have committed a murder or two.
Well, he did admit to killing Mr. Deadman.
Hey, good point, pal. I knew my detective's intuition was telling me something.
Detective's intuition?
Yep, you know about it. It's a special feeling that all
We don't have time for this conversation right now. Let's return to the investigation.
Aw, but Mr. Edgeworth, I want to explain to you the mechanics of my video game.
Mr. Faraday, how ironic it is for him to lose his life in the courthouse.
Yeah, why did he have to be like that? I don't know what to say. I can't believe this happened while I was on watch, pal.
Rather than beating yourself up, you should spend your time continuing the investigation. Didn't you become a detective in order to solve crimes?
Yeah.
Then get back to work and find out the cause of his murder.
Right, I'm on it, pal. Looks like Mr. Faraday died while holding a gun in his right hand.
So he shot Mr. Ryle and then fell on top of him while he's still gripping onto the gun?
I guess it does seem kind of strange, huh? I mean, why would Mr. Faraday know how to fire a gun?
It's not exactly rocket scientist. Even I know how to pull the trigger. Although I doubt I'll ever need to use one. Never ever. He'll never use a gun and be accused of murder. This is never gonna happen.
I hope I'll never have to fire a gun either, pal. But it sure does look cool to hold a gun in your hand.
It appears that the police screenings procedures needs a thorough review. Faraday clearly doesn't know how to use a gun. He has corpse lacks trigger discipline. Anyway, I should jot down some notes about the handgun on Mr. Faraday's hand.
His hand's all black down here, see? I wonder what it could be.
If you look closely, this blotching pattern resembles an ink stain.
An ink stain?
Yes. I usually get ink on my own hand when I use my feather pen.
A feather pen? I've never seen one before. Sure you aren't just making it up, pal?
Mr. Rao's cause of death was from being shot, correct?
That's what we think, but it's hard to tell with him lying face down.
That's bad enough, but it's truly lamentable that someone would try to hide the truth.
Are you sure they were trying to hide something?
I can't confirm Mr. Rao's cause of death with his body positioned like that. Detective Bad, I'd like to examine the bodies in further detail if possible.
What?
What?
What is this? You're not able to form a theory with them the way they are.
I believe an examination of the bodies is what's vital to finding the perfect evidence, don't you?
I suppose you do have a point. Well, hurry up and get on with it.
Labby.
Yes, sir. We've taken enough photos of the scene, sir.
And there you have it. Do you not approve? Of course not.
What? What?
But investigation of a crime scene is the work of a detective, so don't touch anything.
I don't know, dude. We've investigated so many crimes already.
Hey, big fella, turn over the bodies for me, will you?
Okay, please forgive me, Mr. Faraday, sir.
Gumshoe, do not get emotionally involved. Remember, you're a detective.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Well, I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Shot in the chest. It'll take some guts to fire a gun in the courthouse. I mean, I've been a detective for a whole week, and I still haven't fired a single round yet.
Oh, that's Gumshoe.
There aren't many burn marks on his clothes. That must mean... Wait,
burn marks?
a round goes hot, very hot, as it's discharged from the firearm. Therefore, burn marks are usually left when a shot is fired at point-blank range. Ergo, Mr. Ryle must have been shot from at least 2 yards, from a yard or two away, which makes no sense with how this crime scene is set up. Articulate Gumshoe. Articulate Katie. You sure do know a bunch of neat stuff for your age, pal. Apparently, this detective has as much common knowledge as your everyday marsupial. A knife wound in his chest here. I wonder if the wound matches the knife Mr. Ryle is holding. Labby. Yes, sir. Verifying, sir. Make it quick. From the look of things, one could deduce the knife Mr. Ryle is holding is what killed Mr. Faraday. There's a pen! Something in his breast pocket. It's a fountain pen. Hey, if you know, I always keep a pencil behind my ear. It's because Detective Bad's always telling me. You should always write your name on everything you own. Yeah, somehow you do strike me as quite a forgetful individual. Let us try to understand how the 2 men died. First, Mr. Faraday took the gun and the knife out from today's trial evidence. Then he aimed the gun at Mr. Ryle first and fired. However, Mr. Ryle managed to grab the knife and counter Mr. Faraday while being shot. Then the 2 men fell together where they stood. That is my theory in any case, but it's wrong, Edgeworth, you dummy. What a crazy way to go! Still, something about that explanation just doesn't seem right. I believe I have now a firmer grasp on what happened here. Logic! The splotch on Mr. Faraday's hand. I wonder if it might be the ink from the fountain pen. Oh, let me ask the lab guy. Detective Gumshoe, I confirm that the substance on Mr. Faraday's hand is the ink from the fountain pen. I see. Good work. You know, I've always wanted to say that, even if it was just one time in my life. Mr. Faraday wrote with his fountain pen in his left hand. I think it's fair to assume he was left-handed, but the gun's in his right hand. It appears that Mr. Faraday's pen is very important to our investigation. Okay, if you say so, pal. There's a very tidy pile of plastic bags on the table, and yet a portion of them wound up scattered on the floor as well. It's not likely that the ones on the floor were knocked over during our struggle, in which case there might there not be another explanation of how they got there. These things are tidy, yet around them is not tidy. It's contradiction. Another reason? I believe it's possible that the blood on the outside of the bag is related somehow. Please get that blood away from me, pal! Detective Gumshoe, whose blood is on this bag? Hold on, let me ask the lab guy. Alright, please hurry. Wait to get a load of this, pal! It's Mr. Faraday's! Oh, the technician said they didn't find anything else on it or the bag either. It would appear that this bag is a very important piece of evidence. Okay, if you say so. I'll leave it in your hands, pal. I guess there's not much left to investigate, huh? They really did kill each other. No, we can't conclude that quite yet. There's still something I find very peculiar here. The theory that they simply killed one another is too simplistic in this case. In fact, there's actually a contradiction that shows there's another possibility.
No way, pal, really?
I suppose I will just have to show you the contradiction in this crime. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious look and cranny. It's this. Deduce. Oops, that's the wrong button. Spots contradiction. He's left-handed. Now we come face to face with the contradiction I spoke of, and it is this. Mr. Faraday used his left hand to write with his fountain pen. Ergo, he is left-handed. And yet, the handgun is in his right hand. Don't you find it odd that a left-handed Mr. Faraday would hold a gun in his right hand? That, lady and gentlemen, is the great contradiction haunting this crime.
Hey, you're right, pal. That does seem kind of strange. But how could something like that happen?
The facts add up to one conclusion, and one alone. Someone else put the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand after he died.
Someone else?
Plastic bags scattered on the floor, and a gun in the wrong hand. I sense a presence of a shadowy figure behind this case. A person, vile intent, who is serious about keeping the truth from us. Investigation complete. Either that or he was great Yatagarasu and had a sweet dual-wielding ninja skills. Oh, okay. I feel a little lame, because I'm so tired. But I want to play a little more first, so. Okay. Water. Okay. September 10th, District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Yeah, a little bit. I didn't sleep very much last night, so. Here's the autopsy report. It's probable that Mr. Ryle survived for a short time after he was shot. However, Mr. Faraday died instantly from his stabbing. Interesting. Boo, you also did DM. I did. It looks like we won't know everything until we know about this case. Are you sure we know everything? Of course, the incident began with Mr. Faraday attempting to get his revenge. The prosecutor went into a rage from being accused and tried to kill the defendant. But the defendants fought back, and they ended up killing each other. It's all very clear and simple. There is absolutely no margin for doubt. Do you really believe that to be the truth? Ha! Are you saying that just because I figured out the truth before you? That you don't want to believe it true? DST has been screwy with my sleep patterns. That too. I'm doing better with it, but I'll admit, like, it's been daylight savings did screw me over for a few days, so. It's alright. If you disagree with my argument, then prove me wrong. Well, if there's contradictions to be found, that is. Don't worry, I will. It's time for a argument. What happened? Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, while Mr. Ryle survived for a short time. From this, it is obvious that Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. Ryle. And Mr. Ryle, while on the brink of death,
stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. Those are the facts of the case.
Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, therefore he must have attacked first. Proving that logic to be false is probably the fastest way to show her she's wrong. In that case, I should first look for any holes in her theory. Okay.
Hold it!
Do you truly believe that Mr. Faraday died instantaneously?
I have the murder report right here. Mr. Faraday died instantaneously of shock due to being stabbed in the chest. There, you see? It's been documented, clear as day.
It's obvious Mr. Faraday died after he shot Ryle.
Hold it!
Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Ryle before he died. Do you have any basis for that statement?
You foolishness has no end, does it not? Now, I hate to repeat myself, however. Mr. Faraday died instantaneously. That is the basis I need.
Alright. So if Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, then he must have attacked Mr. Ryle before being stabbed.
You're finally beginning to catch on, I see.
Brink of Death stole Faraday's knife and stabbed him.
Hold it!
So you believe that dying Mr. Ryle stole the knife from Mr. Faraday?
Mr. Ryle became desperate, and as he did not want to die. Human beings can do amazing things when they are put to the test. So, the two men struggled, and in the end Mr. Ryle was able to grab the knife and stab Mr. Faraday. The messy condition of the room is a testament to their struggle. Yes, my logic is perfectly sound.
Can you really say that? It's perfect.
What are you insinuating?
Nothing. However, I can't let you say what you said slide without further inquiry.
One must be clear and precise. If you could append that statement to your testimony.
Fine. They struggled, and Mr. Ryle used the last of his strength to counterattack Mr. Faraday. The fact that Francisca takes L's continuously throughout the games, even in flashbacks, makes me wonder how she thinks herself perfect and unbeatable. Well, and I think that part of the thing is that Francisca doesn't. She just strives to be because it's been drilled into her from a young age. I mean, the conclusion of Justice for All is that even Francisca recognizes that she is not perfect or infallible. And she has work to do on being better at that. So... You know she is a 13-year-old genius prosecutor here, so... I need to look at all this stuff. He struggled, and Ryle used the last of his strength to counterattack Mr. Faraday. Approximate time of death. Faraday died of a knife stab to the chest. The shock from the stabbing died instantaneously. Ryle died of a bullet wound to the chest. There's no gunpowder burn on the clothes, suggesting he was shot from a few yards away. Possible he was alive for a while after being shot. Okay. Genius prosecutor at 1 day old.
There's blood on the bag.
Okay. Let us just press this for now. About the statement. Mr. Ryle used up all his remaining strength to take the knife and defend himself. One can easily see that they had a violent struggle. Of course, it's nothing compared to what my riding crop can do. Oh my. She's 13. How does one compare the damage of her crop can do with the state of this room? Furthermore, all the plastic bags on the floor of this room were scattered there due to a fight. Is there anything else I can explain for you? No, that will be fine. Those are the facts of the case. So this is where I present let's look at this real quick first. Brought here from Mr. Faraday, but there are no other clues to be found. Which begs the question, do I need to put this bag inside another bag in order to preserve it as evidence? So... Faraday's death was instantaneous, while Ryle survived for a short time. From this, it's obvious Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. Ryle. Okay, but Faraday is on top of Ryle. That's what they're trying to get at. Isn't it? I'm clearly too tired to figure out what the actual thing they want me to do here. I presented it on the wrong thing. Is that it? But they wanted me to pen the statement, so this is clearly the one they want me to present on, right? Or is this the one they want me to present on? Sleep Ace Attorney is hard. It is. I know you have experience. Maybe this is the one they want me to do. No, it's not. Okay. Let me actually save, because I haven't saved since we reached this case. So, in the event that I fuck it up royally, because I'm tired, that will be why. Okay, it's clearly this one they want me to present on, so. They struggled, and then Ryle used the last of his strength to counteract Mr. Faraday. Why do I not have any brain cells right now that I'm doing this incorrectly? What is it they want me to present here? Am I just ahead of what they want here? It's not new evidence? You say exactly like I understood what that meant. It's just this is just you want anything to throw Francisca off. Okay, if they couldn't have struggled because I didn't hear a sign of struggle.
Objection!
Oh. Okay. I didn't know that was part of Gumshoe's thing. I'm just so dumb. Because, like, the table was how we knew there wasn't a struggle, but yeah, I guess Gumshoe did say that. If the two men were fighting, the struggle would have surely caused quite a bit of noise. However, Detective Gumshoe testified that he heard absolutely nothing. Huh. You place too much faith in that detective's testimony, you know. But for the sake of argument, let's say there wasn't a fight. How then did Mr. Ryle get his hands on the knife? Mr. Faraday's bag was sitting right there in lobby number 2. It's not hard to imagine that perhaps Mr. Ryle saw a chance and took it out at some point. So what you're saying is this. Mr. Ryle took a chance when he saw the opportunity and took the knife from the bag. And then Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Ryle after being stabbed. Isn't there something strange in Francisca's statement just now? Took a chance when he saw the opportunity, took the knife from the bag. And then Mr. Faraday shot after being stabbed. No. That doesn't... Yeah, it's off. Wait, something doesn't add up. Oh, really? It's simply not possible for Mr. Faraday to have shot Mr. Ryle after being stabbed because he died instantaneously. We've just been over this. This is the one.
Take that!
According to the coroner's report, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, meaning that he died immediately upon being stabbed by the knife. Ergo, he could not possibly have fired the gun after that. Oh, you got me. Oh, Edgeworth, you fell for her trap. But of course. Well then, if the report is correct, then there is only one correct explanation. If we suppose that Mr. Ryle attacked first, then Mr. Faraday, who died instantaneously, was unable to kill Mr. Ryle. Therefore, Mr. Ryle must have stabbed Mr. Faraday after he was shot. Then, they both died. That is the only explanation that makes logical sense. Negating your opponent's ideas in order to prove your own theory. I see you've been studying, Francisca. I just wanted to explain to you how as simply as possible, before you foolishly propose a foolish theory that only a foolish fool like you could. How naive of you to believe that only your opinions are valid, and still expect to discover the truth that the crime scene offers you. Francisca, you've got a ways to go. What are you talking about? Are you saying that there's a flaw in my logic? Mr. Faraday died instantly, and the fact that he did is what gives rise to the contradiction of the scene. The contradiction here, the crime scene, is the order the bodies fell. Let me get this straight. What you are arguing is this. Mr. Faraday took the gun from his evidence bag and shot Mr. Ryle. Then he wounded Mr. Ryle. The wounded Mr. Ryle found the opportunity to take the knife and strike back. Upon being stabbed, Mr. Faraday died on the spot, and Mr. Ryle died thereafter. If that is the case, then how do you explain this? Take a good look at the order of which the bodies piled. No! Mr. Faraday's body is lying on top of Mr. Ryle's. See, I knew what they were getting at, but Edgeworth just wanted to make it take more steps.
Mr. Ryle must have died before Mr. Faraday.
Impossible! It's really not impossible, Francisca.
Yes, I agree that it seems strange no matter what angle you approach it from. Which means that the real mystery behind this crime scene is what must be... No! Not so fast, Mr. Miles Edgeworth.
Mr. Miles Edgeworth?
Miles Edgeworth. What now? I simply think that you ought to think a bit more outside the box. And that is even clearer now that the incident started with Mr. Faraday's murderous intent. She sure knows how to bounce back quickly. An explanation won't be enough this time. It's going to take some very decisive evidence to prove her wrong.
Some decisive evidence? I have that, maybe.
It was just a chance that Mr. Faraday's body fell on top of Mr. Ryle's. The two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates they attacked each other at the same time. It really doesn't matter the slightest that they fell in opposite order.
I mean, it does.
I just know that Francisca's explanation isn't absolutely correct. All I have to do is find a hole in her logic. Once I do, I can present her with evidence that proves the contradiction.
Because he was shot far away. Faraday's top on the two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates that they attacked each other at the same time. I mean...
Hold it!
About that. Pressing someone's testimony in order to gain some time to think. You're a real one-trick pony, aren't you? Too bad your trick only works once. Fool. That wasn't my intent. I simply wished for more detail as to how Mr. Faraday ended up on top of Mr. Ryle. Someone's impatient. I was about to explain everything to you. So do you think you could hold on a minute? Francisca, I'll make you a deal. I'll hold on if you hold on to that whip of yours. Oh, I'll hold on to it all right, and I'll whip you with... Francisca, why? Well, now that you've cut it down a bit, I'd like to continue if you don't mind. The two bodies fell into a pile.
Hold it!
The two fell on top of each other. Don't you find that a bit strange? Not at all. I can see in her eyes she's dead set against me from the bottom of her heart. Miles Edgeworth, once I'm done here, you'll see that there is nothing strange at all. Now then, the two men fell into a pile.
It makes me feel like I don't need to press these at all, but you know, it's okay.
Hold it!
What do you mean by they attacked each other at the same time? I assume Mr. Faraday had two different weapons in his hand. He made the attack, and Mr. Ryle while holding both the knife and the revolver, and then, after Mr. Faraday fired the gun, Mr. Ryle grabbed the knife as he was falling, and stabbed Mr. Faraday. That is how Mr. Ryle wound up on the bottom with Mr. Faraday on top. At close range, it is more than possible. Yes, it's possible, but... Well, if you have any other ideas, then show me what you've got. Oh, I will. And to that extent, I'd like for you to append what you said in your testimony. I don't see any point to that, but as you please.
The fact that indicates they attacked each other at the same distance. They definitely didn't.
Objection!
You foolish fool who is foolish.
So you believe they killed each other at close range? Sorry, but it's impossible. Just as it's written in the crime scene notes. The firing of the handgun did not leave a gunpowder burn on Mr. Ryle's clothing. Therefore, Mr. Ryle and the gun must have been separated by a distance of at least 2 to 3 yards. Ah! Ooh, we got the music. Yes, this is by far the biggest contradiction. The two bodies are piled up on each other, and yet the gun was fired from a distance. And with there being no chance that Mr. Ryle moved that far after being shot, that leaves only one possible explanation. What a completely foolish line of foolish thought from a thoroughly foolish fool. If I'm not right, then who was that made the first move with the intent to kill, huh? Who? The person who attacked first with the murderous intent. That would be Faraday, Mr. Ryle. Neither man. Here in this room, contradictions appear no matter which man we claim attacked first. Thus, there can only be one explanation. There was a third person here. Huh? It was the third person who killed both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Ryle, and set their bodies up to make it look like a double murder. Was he flash stabbed? The third person is the real culprit. Miles Edgeworth, there's just one thing you're missing. Evidence, correct? Exactly. Everything you've said until now is nothing but a story played out in your head. However, this is where the real test begins. Can you prove that there is a third person involved in this crime? Of course. And if the third person was truly here, that fact would resolve the glaring contradiction. Proof that this has all been set up, made to look like they killed each other. I'll present it, and lay bare the final piece of the puzzle that is not yet placed. What is the piece of evidence that proves that there is a third person involved? The gun in his hand? In the wrong hand? Present.
Take that!
Yeah, okay. Good. Apparently the bags would have worked too. The gun in Mr. Faraday's hand and the plastic bag with his blood on it. These two items prove the presence of a third person. How so? Recall the Detective Gumshoe's testimony. Oh, because of the struggle thing. Good job, yo. Thanks. I appreciate that. I was in the hallway the whole time and didn't hear a single peep, sir. If there wasn't a struggle in this room, then there shouldn't be any plastic bags on the ground. Meaning that someone else must have deliberately scattered them around. Do you not see the possibility in this? Disregarding the gun for a moment, there's a high probability of blood splatter when the knife is used on a person. If the culprit held the knife with a plastic bag around it, they could use the bag to catch the blood splatter from when they withdrew the knife. Then, by spreading a few more plastic bags around, mixing the blood in one of them, the arranging of the room makes it look like there was a struggle between two. They were able to conceal their presence. Ah! Looks like we've still got a long way to go in this investigation. Yes.
Objection!
Oh. Judges! What's going on, Judge? You're so imposing.
What the heck's up with you, pal?
Uh-oh. Mr. Bad,
I advise you place Detective Gumshoe under arrest.
What?
What is the meaning of this? Looks like you're not mad enough to discipline your own subordinates. Don't you dare. That detective claims he was there, standing in front of the door the entire time.
Gumshoe was secretly the first Maya all along.
Dun dun dun! But I have it on good authority that it was all a giant lie. Miss Yu, if I ask you to please explain that last statement. I'll let His Honor explain himself.
I saw it with my own eyes, I tell you. During the recess, there was a period of time when there was no one in the hallway.
What? See, Mr. Bad? So I ask you, why would a detective, who was supposedly doing his job the whole time, want to fabricate such a lie? Gumshoe, did you kill Faraday?
No! Of course not, sir.
It would appear that the one who sent this whole crime scene up was that detective, which basically renders his testimony a complete lie and wholly invalid. It looks like your perfect logic has just come tumbling down, Miles.
I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of struggle. The judge's objection sounded so wimpy. I think because the objection was actually used, but...
Was the statement really a lie? Detective Gumshoe, you're now a suspect in a murder of 2 men. Now spit out the truth, or so help me.
I haven't lied to anyone, sir, honest. I really was there. I was in the hallway the whole time.
Hold it.
Detective Bad, I ask that you please do not act without my permission. After all, I am the one heading up this investigation, am I not? Don't talk like you know what's going on, boy. All I want is for this investigation to run perfectly. Perfection is the only wish of a disciple of Von Karma, after all. Therefore, before you take Detective Gumshoe into custody, I'd like to set up the record straight on something. And what's that? What should I ask Detective Gumshoe about? Oh, whoops. I suppose the one thing I'd like to clarify is Detective Gumshoe's motive for committing this crime. Motive, huh? Gumshoe, you've got a grudge against Faraday or anything?
No, sir. Not me. Not a single bad thing against Mr. Faraday, sir.
Is that a fact?
Objection.
You really have a problem with lying, don't you, Detective Gumshoe?
I'm telling you, I'm not lying.
The more unnatural you act, the more suspicious you will become, you know. If you want a motive, Edgeworth, I have one for you right here. Could you please share it with us? However, be forewarned that I won't hesitate to object to flights of fancy, because all I'm interested in is perfect explanation. You're serious, aren't you? Fine. You amuse me, so I'll humor you with little courtroom practice.
Oh no. Another one. Gumshoe's motive.
It was about a week ago. I saw the detective get chewed out by a livid Faraday.
I was very fortunate that the first option was the correct one.
In front of the precinct. He stood there, super pale, as Mr. Faraday yelled, "That's salary cut for you, nitwit!" A brand new detective suddenly gets a salary cut? That's reason enough for a grudge. Well, how's that for a perfect explanation?
You totally misunderstood me, pal. No matter how mad I get, I could never hold a grudge.
Quiet. We can't trust anything you say.
Sir?
There's nothing wrong with the motive she proposed per se. But there are some gaps in her logic that need to be filled in. This used perfect explanation may not be so perfect after all.
Lady, if Gumshoe became murderous with his salary was cut, these games would be goddamn warrior clones. Just out of nowhere, Phoenix Wright Muso game just existing, that would be really funny. I guess you'd just be fighting, like, nebulous NPCs. Oh, okay. So the detective gets chewed out by Faraday in front of the precinct.
Hold it!
Let's just start here.
Mr. Faraday was upset. Yeah, you know what else? Mr. Faraday isn't exactly known to get angry often. But there he was, totally be-red in the face. And the offended detective just stood there, pale as a ghost, like he was about to die. It's just like his face is making right now.
Ugh. I'm completely innocent, I tell ya. Poor man. Oh my god, sympathy. It was quite a scene with the detective. Stood there super pale. Mr. Faraday yelled, "It's a salary cut for you." You just stood there watching this unfold in front of you. Yeah, I have to say it was really enjoyable too. But that's why when I saw Detective Gumshoe earlier, I knew to steer clear of him. No way! I thought it was because I had something stuck in my face. You idiot. What, I got stuck on my face? Let's start with your eyes, nose, mouth. No, that was ridiculous. Eyebrows. Huh? Oh man, messing with your head is just too much fun. Miss Yu, if you don't mind, I'd like to return to your testimony now. Sure, why not? Brand new detective suddenly getting a salary cut, that's reason enough for a grudge.
Hold it!
To cut a new detective's salary right off the bat like that. I'm not really familiar with the way you guys relate, but is that a common practice? Speaking of cutting my salary, you didn't threaten to do that to me earlier. Didn't you threaten to do that to me earlier? I suppose I did. It's only natural to cut the worthless detective's salary down to their actual worth. Detective Gumshoe is not a murderer. He's a liar. He may be a liar, a pig, an idiot, a murderer, but he's not a porn star. My father can even fire anyone, new or old, with the snap of his fingers. You think that's reason enough for detectives to hate you people? Well, I guess they really shouldn't cut people's pay. Detective Bad, don't tell me Miss Von Karma cut your salary earlier. Mr. Von Karma. That's a perfect explanation.
Hold it!
You call your explanation perfect. Yes, not to your liking. Unfortunately for you, it's just not up to my standards. Is there something you want me to clarify in that case? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yeah, sure, why not? Alright, if you could clear up one thing for me. How Mr. Faraday was killed. Motive for killing Ryle. Faraday and Gumshoe's relation. Motive for killing Ryle? I understand the Detective Gumshoe's potential motive for killing Mr. Faraday. However, what about his motive for killing Mr. Ryle? His motive for killing Ryle? Like I would know. There's not a clear motive for both of the murders. Then I doubt this incident would have occurred, wouldn't you agree? Is there anyone else who might have had a grudge against either of these two men? Or should I look into that ourselves? Oh, in that case, I have absolutely no idea. What? But that's impossible. She must know something. Wait. Can you please not glare at me like that? It makes me laugh. I didn't even do anything and you're already laughing. Well, anyway, the way I see it, as long as he had a motive to kill one of the two, crime would have played out the way it did. Oh, would you care to explain your logic? And this time, please try to provide a truly perfect explanation. Perfect this, perfect that. Stop being so uptight. Or is that a requisite trait for being avant karma? Miles Edgeworth, I demand you shut this rude woman up. I wish you to both be quiet for just 1 second. Oh, well, I guess I'll just have to explain it to you kids. Motive to kill the men. Let me just check. Okay, we're still okay. There's no one out there with a motive to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Ryle. All you really have to establish is that someone had the grudge against one of the two men. Mr. Ryle, who happened to be there, became a witness to Mr. Faraday's murder. Therefore, he was killed out of necessity to set it up to look like they killed each other. I wonder if that's really true. Is there really no one out there with a grudge against both men? I should take another look at the evidence for this morning's case. The evidence of the KG8 incident, as people are calling it, involving the embassy staff member, and the two men, who both wound up as suspects in the case. Is there someone else I am overlooking who is somehow related to them? Gee, I wonder. Hint, hint. The victim's name is CCU. And what is the name of our person here? Her name is Callisto U. But this is the previous incident. That's not the current case. Oh, I'm dying on the vine here. Okay, I need to beat up Callista U first. Okay, but my computer's dying. I need my charge cord. I'll be 1 second.
Okay.
I'm plugged in. Okay, let's get this figured out. Let's give more info. We know that's the victim's name. All you really have to do is establish that someone had a grudge against one of the two men. Mr. Rowell happened to be there because witnessed Faraday's murder. Therefore, he killed an associate second up. Look, they killed each other. Well, you also wanted to kill one of them because one of them is the one who was supposed to prosecute the case or whatever. I guess we'll just press until we get this.
Hold it!
So there's no one else who might have had a grudge against both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Ryle? I suppose no one is a bit of a stretch, but I'm pretty sure no one like that was here in this courthouse today. She's lying through her teeth. We just saw someone like that here earlier. And besides, you don't need to prove that the killer had a grudge against both men. Just have to establish that one of them had a grudge. Oh, we're also... I see.
I think it really is just presenting that one thing here. Let's give this a try. Hey.
Miss Yu, I believe there is someone you've overlooked in making your statement. Or rather, is it because you'd rather not bring this person up? What do you mean? We are looking for someone with a reason to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Ryle. I can't think of at least one person that fits that bill. He was suspected of the original KG8 incident. KG8 incident. And a member of the Cadopian embassy staff, Mr. Manny Cochin. That's right. The very man who came to visit you earlier out in the hallway. The man who killed a member of the Cadopian embassy staff, Mr. Ryle. And the man who was the lead prosecutor in the KG8 incident, Mr. Faraday. Are you telling me that Mr. Cochin had no reason at all to kill both of these men? Well, I suppose he might have had a reason or two.
You covered for me, pal! Maybe you're not such a bad guy after all. KG8 is the lead way of spelling KGB. That's fair.
Don't get ahead of yourself. You're still a suspect. Make no mistake about that. The perfect evidence, the perfect testimony. These are the only things I wish to hold.
But I didn't do it!
You will stay under my authority and go investigate Mr. Manny Cochin for me. And remember, I will not be very forgiving should any of this leak out. You want to investigate Cochin? You'd just be wasting your time. And why is that? Cochin was up in the viewing gallery watching the trial, or so I was told. Every cop in this place has been keeping an eye on the guy since he arrived. And then the only real suspect we have is still Detective Gumshoe. I suppose.
No way, come on, Detective Bad, you gotta believe me, sir. I really was in the hallway the whole time, sir. I never took a single step into this room, sir.
Okay, then, are you saying there was someone else who passed through the hallway?
No, there was no one else, sir.
Then why should I believe you didn't do it?
That's one incredibly foolish detective. Standing right in front of the crime scene all by himself. It's as good as a confession of guilt. I have to admit, it is a bit strange. Most criminals will fabricate some sort of a lie to escape their crimes. And if that detective really wanted to prove that he was innocent, you'd think he would have at the very least offered up I spaced out while on duty or the like. Come on, Gumshoe, it's time for your interrogation. Detective Bad. Miles Edgeworth, I will go on ahead and report this to Papa.
And that, as they say, is that. Right, everyone? Ho ho ho!
Well, I suppose you should be getting back to our real jobs now, huh? Before we do miss you, there's something I'd like to speak with you about. What's that?
Okay, I need to stop. I am so tired. Holy man. Okay, but we got started. And next time, hopefully, I can do a large chunk of this case. Maybe even defeat it. I wasn't even correct about who they were talking about. I'm like, oh, it's Callista Yu because the victim was his sister or whatever. And then I'm like, no, they're talking about the other guy. And I'm like, that makes more sense. Alright. Good night, folks. I will talk to you all later. Have a good evening. And thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.